Do you ever get awkward DMs, or maybe you as a network marketer are trying to figure out how do I prospect on social media so it's not awkward, and what do I even say in the DMs? I'm going to show you a couple of awkward pitches that I got, what they did wrong, and then how I would fix it so you don't have to make those same mistakes. I have 3 examples here, and then I'm going to actually give you my perfect prospecting formula at the end of the video, so make sure you stay for that. It's 4 simple steps. So let's jump into this first prospecting, okay? So I had this one guy, he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, Cody, how are you?" Okay, this is all in one message. "Sorry to disturb you." So first thing, I would never say sorry to disturb you, because it's going to lower your status as a network marketer, and you want to keep your status high so people want to join you instead of them having a high status and they feel like they're going to lower their status to join you. It just makes everything better when you keep your status high. So never say, "Hey, sorry to disturb you," or lead with some kind of apology. Okay, never do that. But he says then, "But I wanted to run something by you. I recently got started with a company that is totally disrupting the health and wellness industry globally." Okay, so first thing here is he said, "I recently got started with a company." So he is making it all about himself. He's like, "Oh, it's me, I got started." And then disruption into the health and wellness industry globally, how does that apply to me? It doesn't really apply to me. So it's going to come off as very triggering to your prospect if you come across this. And then to top it off at the end, he said, "Have you had a chance to explore?" And then he inserted the company name. Now, reason why not to do this, inserting your company name, is someone is going to go to Google and be like, "What is this?" if they haven't heard of it. They're very rarely going to come back with a message and be like, "Oh, no, I haven't heard of that. Can you tell me more about that company?" Right? And so those are a couple things that I found as mistakes. So you don't have to do those mistakes. I then reached out and I said, "Hey, can I give you a few suggestions on that pitch? Before you talk about the product or the company, I would ask someone a kind of question to gauge," I spell it wrong, if the person you are DMing has a problem in the first place, okay? So I'm going to lead with the problem instead of a product or the company. All right, I accidentally put in the name of the company. Oops. So I used to promote Live Good, but then I realized, oh man, the margins are way too small. So, I accidentally added that in. So this is what I would say instead. Lead with, "Hey, do you take supplements?" This is what I would recommend you say to your prospect, because we're leading with, "Hey," I'm going to lead with a qualifying question of, "Hey, do you even take supplements? Is this conversation even going to be for you?" Then they'll probably ask "Hey, why?" Or maybe you see them posting about their supplements or they're working out and you already know that, hey, you're qualified, you take some kind of supplements, right? But they say, "Hey, what kind of supplements do you take?" Or, "Hey, do you take supplements?" "Yeah." They'll respond with, "Yeah, why?" Well, and then I'm telling him more. Okay, so you lead with the problem and say, "So I just found out a few weeks ago that most supplements are way too overpriced. And me personally, I've done $2.49 million in supplement sales over the last 3 or so years. And I know that it's 1,000, 10,000%. Okay. And if you are in the industry, you need to also know the problems that you solve as well. Okay. And then the question you can ask is, do you feel like your supplements are overpriced? They may say yes, they may say no. They're like, "Yeah, I do know that this is overpriced." Then you can go with, "Okay, so if you like, comma, I forgot to put a comma there, I can share with you the store that I just found out. And I was able to find them for over 80% off the regular prices. Would you be opposed?" And I like to use the word opposed now instead of "are you open to" me sending you a link to the store, because people, it's like a reverse negative, so to speak. So if you say, "Hey, well, are you open to this?" They're prone to say no, right? So if you say, "Hey, would it be the worst thing that ever happened to you if I sent you a link to the store and you could look and see if you can save some money on some supplements?" No, that wouldn't be the worst thing that happened to me, right? Or I wouldn't be opposed to that. But if you say, are you open to it, or would you be interested in learning more? They're going to be, I feel like I'm being committed to this, right? So you give them a way to commit without being too aggressive. And so you would just say, hey, would you be opposed to me sending you a link to that store? Okay. So that is the first one. Let's move on to the second one here. Second one is better. And then the third one is the best, but there's still some things that the third one can improve on. Okay. So let's jump in here first. They said something earlier and said, hey, thanks. I'm super excited about it. Oh, yeah, because they know that I am training for my Spartan. And so, yeah, they know that I'm training for a Spartan. So that's good. Like, you got to know your prospect, what they're going through. And so you're not just coming off as spammy. Right. So I've been doing really well. It's good to hear from you. What are you up to now? I responded, they say, I am in the health and fitness coaching. I've shifted a bit and I'm focusing more on cellular health now rather than solely on workouts. So they are kind of leading with solution instead of problem, but more on that in just a little bit later. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. So they're piquing my curiosity. Okay, cellular health. And they know it kind of, I'm already qualified because I'm doing this Spartan race I'm getting ready for. Tell me more about this cellular health. And then they proceed to tell me about this for about a minute or so. And then I say, oh, that sounds interesting. Okay. Yeah. So inside of this, they say, yeah, I found out about cellular health. And it was just a lot of what is called technobabble. Technobabble is just, you're using words that people don't understand. They're like, so she told me her story here of like, yeah, I found out that cellular health is super important and there's like inflammation and stuff, and I was just like, okay, that's confusing. But she did say, hey, I can send you some information if you'd like. And I say, could you send me a recording? Oh, it's actually a Zoom call. She wanted me to jump on like a Saturday. And I was like, Saturdays, I kind of have other things going on. I don't want to be sitting down doing Zoom calls. Let's do it during the week. But yeah, send me a recording. Saturdays are usually my most busy day. Unfortunately, we don't usually record them because people often share very personal information. And if you're really interested, we should find a time another day, though, and it would be great to chat. So first thing, this has gone really well so far. The technobabble, I would change a little bit, and I should have written this out for you guys, but I didn't. I apologize. But she was basically just talking about the cellular health, and it can be good for you. And there's a Zoom call. And I was like, okay, well, I might be interested. I would like to have a little bit of more information. Unfortunately, I don't usually record them. So that's an issue here because you want to make it easy or frictionless, friction-free. You want to reduce the amount of friction for your prospects because if they're confused or if it takes them a lot of effort to do something, then they're not going to do it. And then I went on and eventually I did send up a Zoom call, but it ended up taking forever. And then she did send me the Zoom link and it was just really generic of just like, hey, like, it's just going to be for your health. I was like, can you be more specific? I'm like, what? Like, if I'm going to spend an hour on a Zoom call, can you tell me what I'm going to get out of it? And, I actually did include that here. So here's the Zoom info and the focus. So just between you and me, that's pretty vague. We're just like, learn about your cellular health. Yeah, what does cellular health really mean? Like, it's a way to pique interest, but it's not a way to get someone to take action. So the flyer was just, but then I probed a little bit more and I said, hey, focus on the Zoom. We'll discuss the 6-3 balance concept, that test-based nutrition. Still, that's like technobabble. I don't know what that means. We will talk about a test that helps you identify if you have chronic inflammation. Okay. Now she finally got to the problem. Like, hey, are you concerned? This is how I would change it. It's like, hey, are you concerned about chronic inflammation with your Spartan race that's coming up? And so it's curiosity. And it's also problem-based. And I'd be like, hey, why do you ask? Well, if you have inflammation, your cells aren't going to perform properly. It makes it harder to recover. You're going to be really sore. You're going to have a lot of these issues that might happen. I'm just curious if that's a concern. Oh yeah, that is a concern, right? This is how the conversation could have gone, leading with the problem of chronic inflammation. And I finally had to like pry it out of her. But if they're not working properly, anyway, so like still kind of generic, but lead with the problem. Okay. And then I was like, okay, that's much better, more clear about what we will be talking about on that Zoom call. Okay. So I hope you can see how leading with the problem makes it much easier for you to have a conversation, because it makes it less salesy. Okay. I paid over 10 grand, by the way, guys, to learn all this more about the selling in the DMs and how to sell properly between Grant Cardone, Jordan Belford, the 7th level guys. So I've been around the block here too. Here, okay. Third one is we've talked before, and so she just led with 1 minute and 45-minute breakdown here. By the way, if you are liking this video so far of me going into DMs and talking about how to actually prospect in the DMs, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I give a lot more tips and training on this, as well as how to use social media in an automated way to attract people to you. And you can see here, I've attracted 3 of these people to me, and I get DMs every single day from people. So, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll give you more information on this. Okay. So she led with a 1 minute and 45-minute little audio, which is great. It increases your relationship and trust. It can be a little cumbersome to listen to sometimes if people don't have a lot of time, but it was funny though. She led off with saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm not spamming you. I'm not a spammy Tammy. I am, I'm not prospecting you," which again lowers the status if you prospecting. It's just like when people say, "Oh, this is not a pyramid scheme." It's like that puts it right in people's heads, and then you are having to deal with that later. Anyway, I digress here. So she then led with the problem, which was, she led with her solution, which was, hey, I have this new tool that will provide content for you, help you with your branding. It's going to help you with your team. And then she barely went in with the problem, which was, hey, is your team struggling to create content, duplication, branding? Is that an issue for you at all? And I was like, man, you should have put that at the beginning of the sales pitch. Be like, hey, Cody, I really respect you. I like you. I know that you're building a team. I was just curious, is your team struggling right now with building a brand, creating content, knowing how to overcome objections online, right? And then just leave it at that. Don't mention your AI tool. Don't mention anything until I've already responded and said, yeah, I mean, we're doing all right, but I mean, we could do better. Then you can respond back with, okay, well, I have this AI tool, and I could send you some information about it, and it would help solve this problem that you're having. But she didn't do that. But I respect her enough to be like, yeah, reach out to me, send me the 7-minute video. She sent me the 7-minute video. And then from there, it was the same issue of, can you jump on a Zoom call after? And it's live. And I was like, no, I don't want to be jumping on Zoom calls. I feel like Zoom calls are a waste of time. They take up all your time, and then people are up there just chatting for you could get this across in 7 minutes, but you took 60 minutes to do this. And so if I'm going to do a Zoom call, you're going to send me a recording, and I'm going to 2x it, and it's going to take me 20 minutes instead of an hour. Okay. Anyway, so same kind of issue though. One thing that I would change here is the tool was not coming out yet. So she should have created a landing page with a wait list, grabbing all the people's information. It's like, hey, if you're interested, come join the wait list, come join the wait list, come join the wait list. And I would be happy to send you information once it launches, and you can be, and build hype around that. Okay. So that's one thing also that I would change. All right, let's get into the perfect prospecting formula. So you've probably seen the pattern by now of what you need to do when you are prospecting people. Okay. So first thing you need to do is qualify. You need to see if what they are doing is even relevant to what you can help with, right? And so if you can't tell by their posts or what they are doing on, after looking at their profile that they're qualified, then you can ask them a qualifying question. Like in number 1 here was, hey, do you take supplements? Like, is that an issue for you? do you take supplements, right? Qualifying. If I see that they take supplements, they're posting pictures of them working out, I already know that they are most likely qualified. By the way, if you want to learn how to do this all in an automated way using digital strategies, I do have a 5-day digital recruiting challenge. It's free for network marketers down below. So you can come and join that, and I'll teach you even more ways using funnels and social media and follow-up strategies to help you build more of your team on autopilot in this digital age. Okay. So once you qualify, then you're going to lead with the problem and some curiosity. Okay. Again, the problem. Hey, are you struggling with inflammation, chronic inflammation or just inflammation in general as you prepare for your Spartan marathon? Hey, problem again. Do you have any issue with the problem of supplements being like 80%? I just found that out. It's crazy, right? Did you realize that, or is that a problem for you? Hey, is your team struggling to create content, brand awareness, and overcome objections? Those are all problems that you should lead with those. Okay. And then once you find out that they do have the problem, they're interested in learning about it, then you can tell them a brief story about how you found out the solution. You're not going to mention the company. You're not going to mention the products. You just found out that there's a solution to the problem. So, for example, I just found out that there's this new tool and this new AI tool that I just found because I was really struggling with creating content in my brand. And I just found out there's a new tool that can actually make it super easy. It uses AI to make your content and your story and your brand, helps you overcome objections. And then you can do the final step, which is call to action, CTA. So, hey, I just found out about this tool. I realized that there's a way to create content and brand and overcome objections for my team. Call to action would be, hey, would you be opposed to me sending you a 7-minute video of that? Hey, I just found out that there's a way to save 90%, 80% on my supplements. Okay, that's my story. Hey, I just found out a way. Would you be opposed if I send that over to you? Right, so hopefully this has been helpful for you. And if you have any questions, make sure you comment them down below. Come join the 5-day digital recruiting challenge, and I can help you even further from here. So you guys are awesome. Go out, be great, and create your freedom. And if you are still here, I don't know why you're still here, make sure you watch the video that's right here on YouTube.